Before the more recent Baja, Subaru was already offering a model called Brat. That was decades ago, but we still remember how that model impressed the automotive community with its capabilities. That model was pretty small, smaller than typical coupe utes of the time. It was less powerful too, but still managed to outperform many when it comes to pickup truck duties. Those were the early days of Subaru's iconic all-wheel drive system, something that will certainly be the core of the new model as well. It came in a combination with compact dimensions and lots of practical design solutions, so now it's on Subaru to repeat that design, just in a modern-day execution. Why Subaru Brat before Maverick, Santa Cruz, or Toyota Stout? Of course, the most logical question would be, why choose Subaru's pickup over the competition? If you are a Subaru fan, you already know. If not, let's try to keep it short and simple. The thing with Subaru vehicles is in their unique design approach. If you look at the Maverick or any other pickup in the class, they are all based on crossovers. Ford's pickup shares most of its parts with Escape and Bronco Sport, while the Hyundai Santa Cruz is heavily based on the Tucson. This means that all these pickups feature a transversely mounted engine and front-wheel drive. And even if some variants come with all-wheel drive, that's still a front-wheel drive bias system that doesn't offer much in terms of performance. On the other hand, we all know what Subaru is all about. Except for the Sports Coupe BRZ, every Subaru you can buy on the market is all-wheel drive. That's the company's trademark, a genuine symmetric all-wheel drive system, famous for excellent traction that comes from the fact that the engine is positioned longitudinally, that half axles feature equal lengths, and that the power is sent to all wheels permanently. But a superior all-wheel drive system wouldn't be the only advantage over the competition. We've just mentioned that the engine is longitudinally mounted, and since it's a Subaru, it means a flat four or a boxer engine. The thing with this engine is that, despite a few drawbacks, it's great because it's positioned pretty close to the ground. This means a low center of gravity, which minimizes body lean in corners, which is particularly important in the case of vehicles with increased ground clearance. And with minimized body lean, Subaru vehicles also have a special kind of luxury, in the way that this allows the installment of a softer suspension setup. So it turns out that a typical Subaru is not just more engaging, but also more comfortable than most of its direct rivals. All in all, increased traction, excellent mass distribution, and comfortable suspension setup seem like plenty of reasons to choose Brat over other pickups, but let's check other potential benefits and possible flaws of the new pickup too. Let's start with the exterior design. Exterior design. Once we've done with Subaru's overall design approach, the first thing that comes to mind is the actual size of this pickup. If you look at Maverick and Santa Cruz, some typical measurements for the segment would be a wheelbase of around 120 inches and a total length of around 200 inches. In other words, these pickups aren't all that compact at all. No, they feature pretty respectable dimensions, so Subaru might come with something a little bit different. It could offer a little bit smaller pickup. Namely, the new Brat would most likely be based on the Crosstrek, which is a subcompact crossover. This means that it would feature smaller overall dimensions, and while for some that may represent a drawback, it would also be an advantage for many, because small pickups should be maneuverable and easy to drive, which may not be the case with Maverick and Santa Cruz, considering that their wheelbase is pretty close to the wheelbase of the Ford Expedition, for example, which is classified as a full-size SUV. The actual size is still hard to guess, considering that the Japanese automaker has been pretty quiet about the new pickup. Still, we may presume that the wheelbase could go around 110 inches, roughly, while the overall length most likely wouldn't go over 185 to 190 inches. Of course, that would be a kind of handicap in terms of comfort and bed length, but, once again, it would make this pickup more maneuverable and easier to drive. That's a way to attract customers because, in our humble opinion, those looking for a more spacious cargo bed would go for a mid-size or full-sized pickup anyway. Powertrain and performance. Considering that the Brat will probably be based on the Crosstrek, this means it should use the same powertrain options as well. So base models will most likely be relying on a 2.0-liter flat-4 engine, which puts out a little bit over 150 horsepower. It's not much, but if we consider the small size and weight, it should be enough for average drivers. For those more demanding, we presume Subaru would offer a 2.5-liter engine with 182 horsepower, or its updated variant with a little bit less horsepower but more torque. In any case, both engines would come with CVT, which may be one of the rare things we don't like about modern-day Subarus. At the moment, it doesn't seem like the Japanese carmaker has a formula to fix this, except with the manual transmission. It may sound odd to most, but this could actually be smart because a Subaru with a stick would certainly attract a good number of Baja enthusiasts and other old-school pickup lovers. Moreover, this even opens up the possibility for a high-performance version, which could come with a turbocharged engine with the 2.4-liter turbo flat 4 that puts out around 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque, which would certainly turn this pickup into a fantastic performer, especially if Subaru decides to offer a dedicated off-road version. Do you think that a pickup like this would deserve an off-road version? One with the wilderness badge? Or maybe something even more extreme? Let us know what you think about it in the comments. And make sure to subscribe because many more exciting car previews are coming. Subaru Brat Off-Road Performance. Subaru crossovers and SUVs are generally known for solid off-road performance. Besides standard all-wheel drive, they usually come with respectable ground clearance. The Crosstrek, which is expected to be Brat's main donor of parts, features quite an impressive 8.7 inches of ground clearance already in the most basic variants. Another important feature would be the so-called X mode, with a variety of traction control modes designed for surfaces like mud, snow, steep inclines, and more. But the top of the offer would probably be reserved for the wilderness trim. That model would bring additional off-road upgrades, in the same fashion other wilderness-branded models in Subaru's lineup do. Upgraded tires and wheels, along with off-road suspension and ground clearance increase to a pretty impressive 9.3 inches are some of the highlights, along with underbody protection, black cladding, and a variety of exclusive visual details that typically come from this trim. Finally, we already mentioned the possibility of a high-performance variant, which would come with a turbocharged engine. Interior. Small pickups are predominantly seen as family haulers, and the new Brat would be no different. So instead of those iconic jump seats in the cargo bed, Subaru's pickup would rather follow segment standards and come in a double cab configuration, with full-size rear doors and 2 rows of seats. Of course, due to smaller dimensions, we might see a little bit less passenger space compared to Maverick and Santa Cruz, but there would still be enough room for at least 2 adults to fit in the second row comfortably. A single cab version has been rumored too, though it's hard to say if this is likely to happen or not. Then there's the matter of the cargo bed. Once again, the shorter wheelbase and overall length indicate that the cargo bed would be shorter compared to the classmates. The Maverick features a 4.5-foot cargo bed, while Hyundai's pickup is good for about 4.3 feet. We presume that Subaru's bed won't be longer than 4 feet, but the Japanese company might compensate for this with some smart engineering as it did with Baja back in the day. That pickup also features a pretty modest bed size, but it also had a midgate that folds inwards, along with rear seats. Along with a classic bed extender on the tailgate, that pickup was able to double the length of its cargo bed, which allowed for significantly longer objects. But at the same time, Subaru will have to keep this pickup competitively priced, which would probably require some savings on the inside. This refers to the use of lower rent materials, for example. Still, if we don't consider that this pickup has never been famous for its high-end interior, Subaru fans probably won't mind compromises like these. After all, we don't believe that there could be any lack of modern tech and especially safety features. Release date and price. The new Subaru Brat is in development and we are eagerly waiting to hear more from the officials. As for the price, with all the features we talked about, we are pretty sure that there is no way this pickup could cost $10,000, as some sources suggest. No, we expect it to be similarly priced as the competition, which would probably mean around $25,000 for the most basic variants. What do you think about the 2024 Subaru Brat? Could a pickup like this beat the Maverick and become a segment leader? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.